What's up, YouTubers? How you guys doing today? My second halfers. We about to get started. We're about to get started with today's daily podcast. As you guys know, I'm Lieutenant Sal Blue, and I always like to talk to you guys before I get started in my podcast, just to let you know what I'm going to be talking about today. And today I'm going to be talking about relationships, right? I know that a lot of people are on YouTube and they're talking about NFTs, right? And they're talking about the skyrocketing Bitcoin. That's like at $62,000 right now for one Bitcoin, right? And they're talking about all types of investments and everything. But I think that the most important investment is relationships. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to cue my podcast. And we are going to get into today's lesson. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? It's Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life, coming at you on a Monday afternoon with today's podcast. That's right, episode 138. Episode 138, and I've been doing this every single day, and I'm going to continue to do it every single day until I can't do it anymore, guys. That's what I'm going to do. Every day, somehow, some way, I'm going to bring you guys some type of value. Okay, and let you guys know all the mistakes that I'm making, man. Listen, in my life, I've made tons of mistakes in my life. And I feel it is only right. It is only right to pay it forward, right? And not have you guys, like so many people do, where they just sit back and allow you to make mistakes. No. You know, I don't mind you knowing that I made mistakes, right? I told you. My don't give a shit muscle is really, really strong right now. And so there's nothing wrong with full transparency. Because sometimes, guys, if you're not fully transparent to somebody, you kind of don't let them know the mistakes you make, then you don't really seem genuine and real like a person. And I'm about as real as we're going to get as a person when it comes to talking to you guys about mistakes. So here we go. Let's talk about some mistakes. Today we are talking about relationships, right? And I told you, relationships is probably one of the most important investments that you can make in life, man. Relationships. Think about that, man. Think about that. What scale do you use to determine the value of your relationships? What scale do you use, guys? This is important, and I think you guys should understand this question fully, right? What value do you use to determine? What scale do you use to determine the value of your relationships, right? Now, if you fall into the category of the masses, right, what most people do, your scale is probably based upon how much value that person can bring to your life, right? This is what most people do. Most people get into relationships based on what somebody else can do for them, right? A lot of people say, oh, relationships are give and take, right? Give and take. And that's relationships, and that's how they determine what a good relationship is. And I'm here to tell you just the opposite. And not on the other end either, right? Now, when I say just the opposite and not on the other end either, is before I get into that, right? Into the importance of having a scale. Before I get into the importance of having a scale, I want to just say one thing, right? If you don't have a good or bad scale, right? If you don't have a good or bad scale, you will never be able to develop any type of relationship. Now that I said that, right? If you don't have a good or bad scale, you need some form of value, right? Some type of value system when it comes to the people who you're going to be involved in relationships with. And in order to, I guess, determine what kind of relationship it's going to be, you're going to say, hey, listen, like many people do, right? I'm going to be part of this relationship because this person has money, right? Some people do that. I'm going to be part of this relationship because this person has connections, right? I'm going to be part of this relationship because of so many other reasons, right, why people become a part of a relationship. And I'm trying to tell you that most of those are bad relationships and bad reasons to get involved in a relationship. So that is not something that you want to do when it comes to relationships, right? The reason is because you will be constantly used and manipulated by the masses who categorize you based on the value that they can get from you, right? So if you base your relationship, well, first and foremost, if you have no value system for your relationship, you're going to fall into the category of being used. And if you have a bad one, you're also going to fall into the category of being used, guys. You are going to be used in your relationships because of the fact, right? Because of the fact that you have no value system set up. You need to have that value system set up when it comes to relationships and having a better life and everything that you do, right? You wouldn't jump into an investment strategy, right? You wouldn't just jump into Bitcoin without doing some type of investing, right? Investments in knowledge, right? Gaining knowledge on the investments that you're going to do, right? The same as you wouldn't do it for stocks, right? You wouldn't just jump into a job without doing a full investigation of what type of job you're going to be doing, right? You don't do that. The same thing goes for relationships, guys. You don't just jump into relationships. And I'm not talking about just romantic relationships, guys. I'm talking about every interaction you have with another human being is considered a relationship. All right? And those relationships have a scale of what, however you judge them as far as importance is concerned. I won't tell you how to judge your relationships, but I will tell you that you must have a scale. You must have a scale, and that scale must be based on some solid values that you don't vary from, right? You cannot vary from what you have decided to be your scale for people. I mean, you could vary, like you can make it better. I would hope that you was constantly, as you learn more, you have a higher standard of people that you're around. But as far as having a value, there is no negotiation. You have to have a value when it comes to people and people that you deal with in your life. So understand that you have to have a scale. Now, once that value no longer serves those people, right? Because you don't have a value. Once that value no longer serves that people, something that you bring to the table, what do you think happens in that relationship, right? What do you think happens in a relationship where somebody says that you are a value to them because you have great connections? And what happens when those connections fall apart, right? What happens in a relationship when a woman says he has money and so to me he has value? What happens when you no longer have money in that relationship? What happens? Right? That woman goes off and she finds somebody else who has money, who can bring value to her. Right? So I go into all of these situations telling you that number one, you have to be extremely discriminatory over who's going to be part of your life, number one. And number two, you have to have a value system that you categorize people in. As soon as you meet somebody, they need to be falling in a certain category of how much time they're going to take up in your life, right? Whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's 5 days, whether it's 5 months or 5 years. You have to categorize what place that person is going to hold in your life. So that is important, guys. You don't want to be disposable when it comes to relationships, right? You don't want to be that individual who is disposable. So if you're not going to have a scale, right, to value people, then you're going to easily fall into the disposable category, and that is not what you want to be, right? You don't want somebody to be in a relationship with you because you have money. You don't want somebody to be in a relationship because you have connection. You don't want people to be in a relationship with you based on what you can give them, right? That is not a healthy relationship, guys. So understand that, right? Relationships are not about give and take. You know, hopefully I get that through to most of you guys so that you can begin to have quality relationships in your life. Okay, so now I hope you realize how important it is having a value scale in your relationships, right? How important it is. So now let's get you on track towards setting up your relationships to win. Now, when it comes to winning in relationships, I want you guys to understand this. I'm not talking about winning in relationships where it falls into taking advantage of somebody, right? And I'm not talking about the win-win relationship and all of those philosophies when it comes to relationships or negotiations, right? What I'm talking about is setting up all your relationships for service, right? Setting up all of your relationships for service. I said it twice for emphasis because I want you guys to understand where I'm going with this mindset, this philosophy of setting your life up for service, right? Now, most of the time, when I say this to people, when I say setting up for service, the first thing they think about or the first thing that they worry about is being used, right? Most of the people don't want to set up their life for service because they are so afraid that if they are servicing someone in a relationship, that person is going to use them and dispose of them, right? They're going to use them for what they're worth. They're going to use up all of their energy. They're going to use up all of their resources. They're going to use them for whatever that person needs, and they're going to get rid of them. Well, I did talk about that, and there are people that do that in relationships. But, right, I want to explain this to you, right? This is why it's so important to have a scale, right? Now, the scale I'm talking about is the one I talked about in the beginning, guys. The scale I talked about in the beginning. And it is the reason why I started today's podcast, right? It is because I determine the value of my relationships on the quality of people I'm here to serve, right? So if I determine that somebody is not worth me serving, then I am not in a relationship with them at all, right? I am not in a friendship with them. I am not in an acquaintance with them. I am not in a business relationship with them. And I'm definitely not in an intimate relationship with them, as in a best friend or a marriage or a relationship or whatever. All of my relationships are based on quality people who I am willing to serve, guys. So understand that. And that is how I set up my life, right? My life wasn't always set up like that, right? I used to live this selfish type of lifestyle where I tried to get things from people. But when you constantly are trying to get things from people, people do see that and they understand it. And they begin to use you and manipulate you and make you do things or try to make you do things that are outside of your character. So you cannot set up your life in a way where you are starting to do things out of your character because somebody is holding over you the fact that you need something from them. So you have to understand that. You see, because it is a totally different mindset when it comes to service. Right? When it comes to service, you are no longer thinking about what you can get from somebody. Right? Your entire life is now based upon service. Everybody you come in contact with, it is based upon service, guys. So now just think about this, right? Would you give to someone who has no regard for your well-being? Right? Somebody who doesn't care two craps about you. Would you go out of your way to serve them? Me personally, I'm not even going to speak for you. Me personally, of course not. If somebody has no regard for me, my life, my family, or whatever I hold important to me, then no, I'm not willing to serve them, guys. Okay? So that person is immediately not part of the quality group of people that I'm here to serve, right? Right? Would you give to someone who is blatantly selfish? Right? Somebody who's a me. Gimme. Take. Right? Would you give to somebody like that? Would you be willing to serve somebody like that? No. Listen, they will never get enough if you serve that type of person, right? They will take from you until your last breath, till your last dime, to your last thought, right? That type of person. So me personally, I would never serve that type of person. So that type of person will never be within my circle of people who I'm going to be of service to. Also, man, would you give to someone who is out to use you for your skills, your money, or your connections? Right? Would you? Just think about that, right? See, because this mindset gets you thinking a whole lot deeper when it comes to people that are around you, right? So when you think about service and giving, right? I know me personally, if someone is in it for my skills, my money, or my connections, then no, I am not willing to serve them. And if I'm not willing to serve them, once again, guys, right, that person is immediately eliminated, right, from my circle of people who I'm willing to give service to. Okay, and when you begin to start to separate people based on that, right, and you have this type of mindset of service, you become very discriminatory toward who is part of your circle of service. It is so important, it is key that you guys begin to categorize the people that are around you. I tell you guys all the time, your environment is your destiny, right? And if you surround yourself with quality people, it will help you to up your game when it comes to quality. When you surround yourself with people who you're willing to give service to, it will up your game when it comes to people of service, right? When you're around quality people who expect more of you, not because they need from you, but because they know you have a greater potential within you to give, to serve, you begin to up your game, right? And you expect more from them, and the entire environment raises to the next level of power, guys. And that is important. That is key. And that is what will get you over the hump when it comes to having a successful life. That is what will get you walking down the path to the good life. That will get you thinking right? And it will get you acting right? Because your actions are going to determine how your life is going to turn out. And that is all generated from your mindset, right? And the people you're around. So guys, for me, I know that whoever I serve gets 100% from me, and I have no need to hold back because I'm not looking for anything in return. I spoke to this many podcasts ago, and I will continue to say it. In all of my relationships, my expectations is 100% giving of myself, 0% expecting anything in return from anybody. I don't expect anything in return from anybody because that is not how I have built my mindset. That is not how I'm going to build my life. And that is definitely not how I'm going to build my relationship, right? I don't chase people for what they can give me, right? I attract people based on the individual who I am and the fact that I categorize people based on the value of service that I can give them, right? The value of service that I can give them. And if they're quality people, they're going to get 100% from me no matter what, right? So that is how I do it, guys. And this has helped me to progress and have so much more in my life, have so much more happiness. And it's helped me to have more, to give more, to become more, right? All of those stages that I'm going through to become more than who I currently am. And I'm a current work in progress, guys. I'm a current work in progress, and I have problems just like everybody else has problems. So I want you guys to know that just because I take on the mindset of service does not mean that I don't live a life of problems. I live a life of problems every day. But Problems mean solutions, right? And I don't call them problems, I call them challenges, guys. You know that I've already renamed all of my pain points to challenges. You should do the same thing. Name your pain point to challenges, and you will then start to try to achieve more, because now you won't be running away from it, right? Challenges give me pleasure, right? And so if we are always running away from pain and moving toward pleasure, then I make the switch in my mindset that all of my pain points are challenges, and now instead of giving me pain, they give me pleasure, man. And that is so important. That is so key, right, guys? My scale, right? My scale lets me become my true self to everyone I serve without holding back, because I surround myself with quality people. That's important. Surrounding yourself with quality people, it takes the weight off your shoulders. It helps you to say, I'm just chilling. I'm just relaxing, right? And even though you're working your hardest, you are not working your hardest because someone is holding something over you, or whether someone needs to take something from you. No, you're working your hardest now because your environment has become that. Just a hard-working environment, everybody always, every single day trying to level up, trying to give more, trying to become more, right? Trying to reach more people, right? That is what makes you more powerful than you currently are, right? We can't do this alone, and nobody has ever done all this by themselves, right? You do this with a good quality circle of people around you. Once again, your environment is your destiny, and it is going to make sure, right? It is going to make sure that you have a good life if you do the hard work in advance, right? And set up a scale to value, right, quality people who you're going to serve in your life, right? Now, when you do this, you'll be surprised how the universe, on top of everything, how the universe awards you with a quality life surrounded by like-minded people who are also there to serve. You know, a lot of people say opposites attract. Well, they do, right, when it comes to magnets. But when it comes to people, like-minded people have a tendency to congregate together because you have similar interests and similar goals and similar things that you guys begin to work toward, right? And if you just so happen to have those quality people in your circle of people who you would like to serve, the increased power that happens when a bunch of like-minded people begin to move with a purpose is amazing. It's amazing, and you can be a part of it. You could become a part of it, guys. And I'm telling you guys, you can become a part of this team right here. Team Sal Blue, Team Second Halfers, because we are here to serve. We are here to serve, and that's all I'm constantly looking for is like-minded people willing to serve. And that's how we're all going to achieve what we want out of life. That is how we're all going to have a better life, to get more, to do more, and to become more. So make sure you find like-minded people, right? I'm here to tell you guys, right, that the next most important investment in life, right, other than investing in yourself, is investing in relationships, right? Your relationships is your greatest asset, right? If you ever value anything in life, right, make sure that you value quality relationships, guys. Quality relationships to get the most out of everything you have to do in your life. Okay, so listen. I got interrupted real quick, guys, on my podcast, and I just want to jump back into my podcast. But just give me a minute over here, YouTube. because I was actually literally at the end of my podcast. So I'll wrap up here, guys, and just tell you guys, make sure you hop on over to lieutenantsalblue.com and check out my book at lieutenantsalblue.com. I'm giving it away for free, $9.95. You guys paying the shipping, okay? And also, guys, make sure you check me out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube. And other than that, man, you guys have a great day. And this is Lieutenant Sal Blue, and I will talk to you later. Make sure the next time I do my podcast, someone goes in the comments and says, hey, make sure you put your phone on airplane mode. Alright? So put your phone on airplane mode so that you don't have to do this twice. Alright, so this is Lieutenant Sal Blue. I will talk to you guys later, man. Make sure quality relationships. Treat everybody good that you're around, man. I'll talk to you later. Deuces.